My beloved child, something is drawing near quietly, yet with certainty. It makes no sound, it does not knock at the door, but by the time you notice it, everything within you has already changed. There are losses that do not come from the outside world, but begin as a slow dying within the spirit. I tell you, do not let a spiritual tragedy slip silently into the midst of days that seem harmless and calm. It does not come with thunder, but with each moment you stop seeking me. Each moment you stop yearning for my presence. This tragedy does not explode. It simply fades away like a lamp that still glows outwardly but has grown cold inside. There are things I do not wish you to witness, but you must know a calamity is forming not in this world but within your soul. You are busy doing good works, but you no longer pray. You speak of me, but you no longer hear my voice. This is the rotting of faith, gentle but devastating. Spiritual tragedy does not arise from public collapse, but from the stable days when the fire is gone. I see you among the crowd, hands still lifted, lips still singing, but your heart growing cold. You think you are standing firm, but in truth you are drifting away. The greatest danger is not falling down, but sliding away under the guise of peace. The enemy does not need to steal your faith. It only needs to make you stop using it. And when faith is no longer practiced, it dies slowly in neglect. Once you trembled at my call, but now you only offer a faint smile. You have not committed some great sin, you have merely ceased to hunger. Yet it is this loss of hunger that is the abyss. A cold soul does not need to be destroyed, it only needs to be forgotten. My child, awake. Do not let spiritual tragedy draw near, for it does not knock, it sits already on the threshold. The greatest tragedy is not material loss, but spiritual coldness. Many think they are well because they still work for God, but inside the flame has gone out. Separation from truth does not begin with rebellion, but with small delays in prayer, with subtle compromises of thought. My child, look at yourself. Do not wait until silence becomes a wall between you and me. Watchfulness is not living in fear, but keeping your heart turned toward the source of light. When you begin to sense a strange wind in your soul, that is the very moment I am knocking to rescue you before it is too late. My child, there are tiny cracks within the soul that only those who still listen can perceive. At first, it is only a silence during prayer, a slight indifference when hearing my word, a fleeting hesitation when I call you back. Yet these very cracks, if not sealed with repentance, open into a vast chasm. Spiritual tragedy does not rush in like a storm. It seeps in like morning mist, gentle, soothing, making you feel no need to resist. Many of my children have fallen not because of great sins, but because of small things, disregarded silences, the soul no longer finds painful. You still go to church, still lift your hands, still read scripture, but within you the longing has begun to fade. The cold does not come from without. It begins when you no longer fear losing me. I do not require your perfection. I only desire that you still tremble before my presence. But when your heart no longer trembles, when the tears of prayer dry up, that is when spiritual death quietly begins. The invisible tragedy is to live morally without living spiritually. Long ago in the wilderness, Israel still followed the pillar of cloud and fire, but their hearts had long departed from me. They still journeyed, still ate manna, still kept the law, but each step was hollow. I gave them everything, yet they wanted something else: sensation, power, satisfaction. They thought that as long as they stayed in the camp, they would not be lost. But my child, one does not have to leave the line to be lost. Loss can happen while the feet still move, but the heart no longer aims for the destination. The first one lost in Scripture was not the one who walked away, but the one who followed without love. Do not think tragedy only comes to the rebellious. It comes also to the obedient who are not sincere. Spiritual death makes you weary without cause, restless amid blessings, suffocated within holy things. You call it the fatigue of faith, but it is the sign of a soul drying up, a living soul that no longer hears. My voice is like a body without breath. I see you running to serve, to prove yourself, to please everyone. You think I am pleased because you do so much in my name, but truly I only long for you to stop and hear me once. You have let the noise of the world drown out. My voice let praise cover over my warnings. When prayer becomes routine, when reading my word becomes habit, when faith becomes mere duty, the invisible tragedy has already taken root. You begin to live by your own strength and no longer depend on me. And the most fearful thing is this: you do not even realize it. My child, I do not rebuke you for weakness. I grieve only when you disguise your weakness as strength. Many keep a facade of piety to hide their inner barrenness. But I see everything. I look deep into your heart, the place you dare not look. I see the weariness you suppress, the coldness you cover with an "I'm fine" smile. Do not let that false stability kill the real part of you. For the greatest tragedy is not losing something, but losing the ability to feel me. Remember, the invisible tragedy is not only distance, but the loss of awareness of that distance. When a soul no longer senses my presence, it begins to replace me with other things: work, relationships, success, even ministry. I do not need busy hands if the heart has grown cold. Many think their busyness in my house is proof of faithfulness. But I tell you, not everyone who serves still walks in the light. There are busy hands whose souls have drifted far away. Do you remember King Saul? He was once chosen by me, anointed by me, lifted up by me. But when he began working for me without listening to me, my spirit departed from him, and he did not even know it. He continued to reign, to sacrifice, to say for the Lord, but I was no longer there. That is spiritual tragedy. Still living, still speaking, still serving, but empty. Saul did not die because of outward enemies, but because of the emptiness within. And the frightening thing was, he never realized when he had lost me. Do not fear when you see yourself weak. Fear when you see yourself hardened. For I can lift up the weak, but it is hard to move the hardened heart. A heart that knows it is lost still has hope. A heart that believes it is right has shut the door of grace. Such is the invisible tragedy. It makes you feel you no longer need me. You still speak of grace, but no longer live in it. You still hear of forgiveness, but no longer weep over sin. You still sing of love, but no longer feel warmth when you call my name. I once sought you in the night as I sought Adam after his fall. Where are you? Not because I did not know where you were, but because I wanted you to know how far you had gone. But you answered like Saul, I am still doing the Lord's work. My heart aches, my child. I do not want your work, I want your heart. Invisible tragedy always begins by trading intimacy for productivity, replacing prayer with activity, replacing presence with plans. And so you slowly turn faith into formula and me into a symbol. Yet I remain patient. For I know behind your shell of calm there is still a faint, fragile longing. I hear the small groan in the corner of your heart, the sound you yourself can barely hear. My child, I have never been far. Tragedy only wins when you stop turning back. With a single honest whisper, Lord, I am cold, the flame within you begins to live again. I do not wait for you to become strong before I love you. I love you to make you strong again. Do not be ashamed when your soul is dry, for I am the living water. Do not hide when your heart is cold, for I am the ever-burning fire. You do not need to earn my love, you only need to stop. Each time you pause to breathe, to remember to whisper, Lord, I need you, I draw you nearer. Tragedy can only exist in darkness. Open the door to light and it vanishes. I do not call you to scold, I call you to restore. I know sometimes you fear turning back because you think I am angry. But I have never been angry at children who realize they are lost. My anger is directed not at you, but at the things that bind you. You need not run to me in fear, only walk in truth. Every invisible tragedy is exposed when you are honest. Better to tremble in the light than be at peace in the dark. For the moment you return, I will rekindle the first flame within you. My child, do not wait until your soul is exhausted before seeking water. Learn from David, who said, my soul thirsts for you, like dry land longs for rain. When he fell, he did not run away. He knelt, wept, and said, do not take your Holy Spirit from me. Those very words saved him from tragedy. I do not seek the perfect. I seek those who still fear losing my spirit. For when you still fear that, it means the flame within you has not gone out completely. So I say to you, examine your inner life. You may still be smiling, but inside you are quietly breaking. Let me touch that place, the place where you hide your wounds, the place you think I need not know. Invisible tragedy can only be healed by honesty. Do not let it erode you day by day. Watchfulness does not mean living in fear, but keeping your heart soft. As long as your heart is soft, I can still shape it. And when you begin to feel again, you will understand what I have been saying all along. There is no greater tragedy than to live without me, and no greater miracle than for the soul to live again. Keep this truth in your heart, for in the days to come you must learn to discern my voice from others. Not every light is from me, and not every sweet word is truth. But that is the lesson of a new chapter where you will learn to distinguish the voices around you so you will not be lost among 1,000 false lights. There are moments I see you sitting among the crowd while your soul feels as if it were in a desert. Not because you are lonely, but because you are lost among countless voices. Every piece of advice, every glance, every pat on the shoulder seems well-meaning, but not all good comes from me. This world is full of calls that look like light, but if you do not know how to listen, you will be drawn away from the true light. The tragedy of many souls is not in rebellion, but in mistaking the voice they hear. Do you know this, child? The enemy almost never arrives with horns and a tail. It comes with a gentle, friendly voice, with counsel that sounds wise, with affections that make you feel loved. Yet hidden beneath is a tiny hook snaring your soul through peace in the wrong place. At times, you choose to keep a relationship quiet and undisturbed at the price of your peace with me. You fear offending others, yet you do not fear offending me. You hesitate to wound anyone, yet you do not see that you are wounding the sacred bond between you and me. Long ago, Eve did not fall because of open rebellion, but because she misheard a voice. The serpent did not threaten, it merely spoke softly. Did God really say? And with that single line, the world changed. Tragedy began not with an act, but with a voice you allowed into your heart. You often assume you are steady enough, but if you listen to what is wrong for too long, it will harden into what you believe is true. I want you to know not everything that seems reasonable is right. Not everything good for you is what I intend. For the enemy always speaks the language of advantage, while I speak the language of eternal life. My child, do not weigh advice by your feelings. Test it by my word. Many voices warm your heart, yet in the end they draw you away from the light. Truth may hurt you, but it heals. Deceit may soothe you, but it poisons the soul. The spiritual tragedy of many is that they choose what is pleasant to the ear over what is faithful to the truth. I do not want you merely to listen. I want you to discern, for only when you can recognize my voice will you refuse to be led into the dark. There are some I send to uphold you, and others who come to prove your heart. You must learn to know who lifts you upward and who pulls you down. I have given you the Holy Spirit to distinguish what is genuine from what is false, yet you often trust your emotions more than His leading. You call someone your closest friend because they understand you, yet they may not understand my purpose for you. And if a relationship satisfies you, yet leaves you cold in prayer, that relationship is quietly bleeding your soul. I once set before you a figure in Scripture, Samson. He was strong, anointed, and yet he fell in the arms of one he thought was sincere. Delilah needed no sword, she needed only a whisper, and the hero's strength was gone. Do you see? The enemy does not charge with a blade, it approaches with a voice. It does not bruise you at once, it clouds you. And when you begin to compromise in your affections, in your words, in your bonds, you have, without noticing, laid your head upon the lap of a spiritual Delilah. Child, do not fear losing people, fear losing me. A true relationship will never drive you from me. For those who are from me always turn you back to the source. When someone makes you forget to pray, forget the word, forget to listen, then no matter how gentle they seem, they are not a gift but a test. I do not forbid you to love, but I teach you to love within limits, the limits of truth. Love without truth is only weakness wrapped in sweet emotion, and love unillumined by me will slowly become a chain that leaves your soul short of breath. I know you fear loneliness. You fear being misunderstood when you step back from a relationship that looks good. Yet sometimes loneliness is the beginning of cleansing. I once called Abraham out of his homeland, out of the familiar circle, so he could see me more clearly. Had he not left, he would have heard only human voices and never the voice of heaven. So too at times I remove a few from your life, not to punish but to save. Not everyone can walk with you to the end of the path I have appointed. I see you standing between two currents of sound. On one side are praises that make you feel sufficient. On the other, my still small voice invites you to humility. Which will you choose? You may please everyone or you may please me, but not both. The enemy exploits your kindness to make you keep what you should release. It dresses compromise in the garment of balance so you think you are being wise. But child, peace in the wrong place is the quickest way to lose peace with me. When I teach you silence, it is not because you are weak, but because I am shielding you from needless words. When I lead you away from a circle, it is not because they are bad, but because you no longer share the same direction. Do not judge distance by the sadness you feel. Look at it by the light. Everyone who leaves your life carries some part of my intent, either to make you mature or to train you in discernment. You cannot go deeper into my plan while clinging to voices that are not mine. Yet know this as well, not every bond is suspect, and you are not called to distrust everyone. Discernment is not a closed heart, but an open heart in the right places. I send you those who are truly mine people, with whom conversation gives you peace, not confusion. They do not make you feel impressive. They make you feel your need for me. They do not flatter. They uphold you with truth. Such connections are cords of grace by which you will stand firm, and as you learn which voice to heed, you will also learn to guard the quiet within. The clamor of the world cannot invade a soul anchored in me. When you listen to me long enough, every other sound will fade. True discernment does not grow from anxious analysis, but from intimacy. The nearer you dwell to me, the more readily you recognize the authentic voice, like sheep who know their shepherd. They hear, and they know without explanation. Therefore, I do not tell you to flee the world. I tell you not to let the world shape the voice within you. Let my word become the familiar resonance to which everything else must tune. When you learn this, you will see some people are given for a season, some for a journey, and some only to teach a lesson. Do not grieve, do not cling, keep only what is mine. For you cannot hear me clearly if your ears are filled with other sounds. I say these things not to make you fearful, but to make you light. You do not need to strain to filter people. You only need to stay near me. True light separates itself from shadow, clear water settles its silt. The closer you remain to the source, the more all that is not from the source will slip away. Then you will find an unusual stillness within, no longer torn by 100 voices, but listening to one child walk in my light. For there will come times when you must face something subtler, not merely the voices of others, but the voice within, tiny compromises, reasonable excuses, seemingly harmless things, weaving a net for your soul. But that is another chapter, where I will teach you to be careful with every small concession so you do not squander the gifts I have entrusted to you. My child, at times what grieves me most is not blatant betrayal, but your quiet acceptance of a small wrong. The compromises you deem harmless are the fine threads that weave the net that binds the soul. The enemy is never hasty. It is shrewd enough to make you slip by just a little, then let you grow accustomed to the skew. One day you look back and realize you are no longer where you began. Spiritual tragedy rarely comes from a single great fall. It comes from allowing a little each day. I have seen many souls once ablaze grow dull through compromises that seemed innocent. You say, "Just today, Lord, I'm tired." Then that today repeats into a week, then a season. You compromise with neglect of prayer, with postponing repentance, with small pleasures cut loose from my will. In each bit of rest, unguided by me, the enemy pours a sweet anesthetic into your soul. It does not drive you to revolt. It numbs your sense of need for me. And that is the first step toward a quiet death. Do you remember Jeroboam? I lifted him up, gave him a kingdom, promised him stability if he would be faithful. But he compromised a little. He set up 2 golden calves to make worship more convenient. He thought, so long as their hearts turn to the Lord, what harm if the form changes a little? But that little opened the door for a nation to descend into darkness. Do you see, convenience is often the enemy of truth. The things done to make it easier to save effort to fit in are precisely where the enemy hides the blade. I do not want you to live afraid, but I want you to live awake. Every choice, however small, is a thread in the garment you are weaving for your soul. A single loose strand can tear the whole cloth. When you say, Just this once you are saying, Lord, I choose what is easier over what is right, and the easy path always leads to dryness. I love you, and therefore I cannot be silent while you grow comfortable with what is wrong. I know you are tired, wounded, in need of comfort, but not every comfort is from me. A sweet lozenge may soothe the throat, yet harm the heart. You have been given gifts, and I give nothing superfluous. Every ability, every grace, every spiritual sensitivity in you bears a purpose. But when you let those gifts lie dormant out of fear, fatigue, comparison, or self-doubt, you are letting gold rust in the storehouse. Many ask me for more while the gifts they already have remain unused. I do not take away because you are weak. I take away when you cease to be faithful. Gifts do not operate so that you are praised, but so that I am exalted through your life. If you forget this, the gift itself becomes a burden, not because it is evil, but because it is wasted. Do not think only those with great offices are tempted by compromise. The one who sings in a room, the one who prays in silence, the one who loves in secret, they can all be robbed if they cease to keep watch. Spiritual waste begins when you use my grace to serve yourself rather than to serve me. When you sing to be admired, when you pray to feel powerful, when you give to be respected, the gift has been switched. I do not seek beautiful acts if the motive has drifted from love, for I look at the heart, not the outcome. There was a time I gave my servant a grace to heal. He used that gift to help many, yet gradually he noticed people admired him more than they sought me. Instead of realigning, he began to savor their gaze. I whispered often, "Humble yourself," but he thought he was fine. In the end, the gift became a wall between us. He kept healing others, but his own soul had grown dry. Do you see? A gift is not the sign that you are near me. It is evidence that I once trusted you. But if you do not guard it, what I have given can become a two-edged sword that makes you bleed. Never think that because you are being used, you are still standing firm. Saul remained king even after the Holy Spirit left him. A season of grace can make you mistake my patience for my presence, but in truth, I am giving you room to return. My child, awaken before your gift becomes a burden to others. Do not let your spiritual power outrun your spiritual maturity, for when it does, the very grace you carry will make you stumble. I teach you not to despise the small. A soft word, a passing thought, an action that seems insignificant, each can open a door to the dark. The enemy does not need to push you into a great sin. It only needs to make you a little less holy, a little overlooking, a little loosening, a little indifference. And that little is the first doorway to the abyss. If you do not guard your heart in the small things, you will not have strength when the great tests come. I do not demand perfection of you, but I long for your faithfulness in little things. For I can entrust much only to the one who holds fast the little. But my child, I have not come to weigh you down with guilt. I have come to remind you that every compromise can be withdrawn with a single word of repentance. You do not need to fix your whole life. You need only correct your direction. If you know you have compromised, kneel now. Do not try to pose as right. Be truly sincere. I delight when you say I am weak, but I want to be right. Those words shake heaven. I do not need strong warriors. I need soft hearts. A heart that trembles before my word will be useful until the end of this age. And when you return, you will find my promise still intact. The gift was never lost, only asleep. At the sound of my true name on your lips, it will awaken. Like a dry seed that seems dead yet sprouts at the touch of rain, so your gift has never departed. It has been waiting for you to cease your compromise so it can live again in the purity of its first purpose. My child, there are lessons I do not teach in glory but in silence. When I hide you, it is not because I forget you, but because I want you to behold yourself. My light does not only shine upon the world, it searches the hidden corners of your soul, those places still hungry to be praised, to be recognized, to be seen. But hear me, if you still need to be seen by others, you will never truly see me. For I often walk in the shadows where no one applauds, no one photographs, no one claps. At times I place you in a season of obscurity. No one calls your name, no one mentions you, no one knows what you are doing. You feel the ache of being overlooked, abandoned, invisible. Yet this is when I am teaching you the art of disappearing into grace. When you no longer need to prove yourself, you begin to learn how to truly exist. Your true worth does not rest in the gaze of people, but in my single gaze. I saw you when none did. I heard you when your name was no longer spoken. Long ago I chose Moses when he had been forgotten. He had been a prince with power and position, but I did not call him when he was celebrated. I called him when he was tending sheep in the wilderness. 40 years of silence were not abandonment. They were the classroom of humility. In the desert there was no one left for Moses to impress, only me for him to hear. And in the place where no one saw him, he became the one the world could not ignore. Do you see, I always do the great work in the ordinary places so long as your heart is willing to become small. My child, the need to be seen is one of the subtlest temptations. It does not wear the face of sin. It dresses itself in righteousness. You serve, you help, you do good, but deep inside you still yearn for recognition. The enemy knows this well, so it does not stop you from doing good. It only alters your motive. Once you do the right thing for the wrong reason, you have slipped off the bright path without noticing. It does not say, "Do not do it." It whispers, "Make sure they see you do it." And little by little you begin to live for human eyes rather than for mine. Have you noticed how when you are praised, your heart warms yet grows restless? Your soul knows some part of it is not true. That is a signal I send not to shame you, but to help you pause. When you crave to be seen, you are moving away from my center and placing yourself in the frame, but I did not make you to stand out. I made you to reflect. True light does not shine of itself. It reflects the source. The more transparent you are, the more clearly I am seen. Remember, the enemy does not tempt you with what you hate, but with what you secretly desire. It does not hand you obvious downfall. It offers early glory. You think it is a reward, but it is a velvet trap. It gives you the chance to be seen so that you miss the treasure of being known by me. And once you grow accustomed to applause, you will fear silence, fear being forgotten, fear the places no one cares about. You will do anything to be noticed, and in doing so, you forfeit your peace. I have tested many hearts. Some forgot me after a single compliment. Others left the place I set them for one invitation. People do not fear poverty. They fear being forgotten. Yet in my kingdom, what is hidden is not small. It is being kept warm for the day of appearing. Like a seed buried deep in the earth, it is not lost. It is being nourished. When I hide you, I am not diminishing you. I am protecting you from your own hunger to be looked up to. For true glory does not come from prominence, but from endurance in the hidden place. Do you know why I sent Jesus Christ in the form of a child laid in a manger? Because I wanted you to see that true light needs no audience. While everyone searched for a dazzling Messiah, they wandered past the simplest place. Humility is the only door into true greatness. The lower you bow, the more room I have to exalt you. I do not ask you to belittle yourself. I ask you to let me lift you in due season. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, but those who humble themselves I will raise up. My child, I know you long to be used by me. But remember, I cannot pour into a vessel that is already full. If you will not let me empty you of the craving for recognition, grace will not flow through you. It will pool in you. Every river that ceases to flow becomes a stagnant pond. When you humble yourself, you become a channel. Water passes through you, not stopping yet watering every field. When you stop asking who will see me, you begin to see me everywhere. Then true freedom opens, freedom from the eyes of men, from the fear of being forgotten, from the pressure to prove yourself. The more you humble yourself, the more I teach you to love without needing return, to serve, without needing a name to give, without needing anyone to know. And when you live this way, heaven bends low. For heaven does not count how much you do, but watches how you do it when no one is looking. You do not need the world to know you. It is enough that heaven speaks your name, and believe me, every tear you shed in silence is kept in my bottle, never wasted. Do not fear, if right now you find yourself where no one pays attention. This is not an ending, but a rebirth. For in the hidden place I am rewriting your worth by the measure of my kingdom. Every earthly accolade is fleeting, but my gaze is eternal. If you live to be seen, you will burn out. If you live to be seen by me, you will find rest. I do not want you to live for stage lights. I want you to live for everlasting light. And when you learn this, that only I affirm you, that silence can be the language of grace, that hiddenness is not loss but purification, you will realize there is nothing left to prove and no one left to please. You will be free from every expectation, even your own, and then you will be light enough for me to lift. In the end, you will understand humility does not make you smaller, it makes you deeper, and only a soul with depth can stand when I entrust it with great light. My child, every journey must return, not to the point you started, but to where you began, where you first heard my voice, where you loved me for nothing but me. Time may dim, the flame work may harden the heart, but first, love, the love without bargaining or calculation, remains glowing like embers awaiting the breath of my spirit. And today I come not to accuse, but to breathe. There are roads you have walked so far you think you cannot turn back yet, a single bow of the head, a single Lord, I miss you, and heaven opens again. You do not need perfection to return, you need truth. I do not ask what you have done. I ask, do you still want to love me? For love, not effort, is the key that unlocks every spiritual door. When you love again, prayer will no longer be duty. Obedience no longer fear, faithfulness no longer a transaction. Long ago I asked Peter 3 times, do you love me? Not because I doubted him, but because I intended to restore him. He had failed, denied, and fled. Yet with Lord, you know that I love you. The fractures within him were mended. Do you see, I do not need grand promises. I need a heart that knows the way home. When first love is rekindled, everything else revives on its own. Prayer breathes again, my word lives again, and the gift you thought had died rises again. For true love is the one flame the darkness cannot quench. My child, you often think you need to be protected from the world, from temptation, from harm, but I tell you the safest place is not inside a shell, it is inside my love. That love not only shelters, it transforms. It does not keep you unchanged, it makes you new each day. When you remain in my love, every trial becomes a chance, every wound a witness, every tear a raindrop that nourishes your faith. Know this, I have never asked you to be flawless, I ask you to be sincere. First love is not a flash of zeal, it is the pure state of a soul that still believes I am enough. I am not asking you to return to childish days. I am asking you to return to the heart that once trembled for me. For as long as you can still tremble, you are still alive. Do not let faith become a habit. Let it be a heartbeat again. I do not search for perfection in your deeds. I look for truth in your breath. Like Noah stepping into the ark amid mockery, like Lot leaving the city amid smoke and fire, like Daniel praying among lions, they were saved, not only because they did right, but because they loved me more than life itself. That love became the unseen wall around them. When you truly love me, you need not fear the world. The world will no longer hold power over you. For my love does not merely rescue you. It keeps you unstained in the midst of sin, at peace in the storm, and radiant through the long night. My child, when I look at you, I do not see faults. I see the potential of light. I do not count the times you fall. I count the times you dare to return. And each time you do, I pour into you another measure of myself. First love is not only the starting place, it is where I desire you to live all your days. Only there are you guarded from yourself, from pride, from despair, from compromise, from comparison. When you abide in love, nothing can truly wound you. For true love does not seek its own, does not store up. Anger does not demand the victory. That is why I teach you to come back, not to make you weaker, but to make you new. I long to take your hardness and turn it into gentleness, to take your fear and turn it into faith, to take your weariness and turn it into rest. Each time you return, I rebuild you in the image of my Son, not by force, but by love. For in love, everything is made new, even what you thought was lost. Beloved child, let me love you again. Let me embrace the parts of you that were shamed, that were afraid, that were hidden. First love is not measured by how often you go to church or how long you pray, but by whether you still look at me with the trusting eyes of the child you once were. Let every storm pass, let every mist dissolve, and you will hear my gentle voice calling, my child, it is time to come home. And when you return, you will see the deepest truth. It is not that I changed to love you more, but that you changed to see that love more clearly. From this moment, you will no longer live out of fear of tragedy, but out of gratitude for life. You will no longer search for the light, for you carry the light. You will no longer beg to be protected for. First love has become the unseen armor around you. Guard that flame, dear one, the flame that once brought you to tears when you heard me call your name, the flame that once bowed your head before the world and still let you taste glory, the flame that once made you love me without needing a price. Reason. I am still who I am, the one who loved you before you knew how to love me. And I will still be here in every breath, every tear, every whisper of Lord, I have come home. My beloved, from the beginning I beheld you among the multitude of souls on this earth, and I set you in a place that only you can bear. I do not seek excellence as people define it. I seek in you a pure heart, a soul ready to be shaped into an instrument of grace and truth. You have heard that call before, have tasted the sweetness of being set apart, but with time, the weariness, the whirlwinds of life, the murmurs of the world have dimmed the memory of that first consecration. I have not called you to an easy path where all is convenient. I lead you on a narrow way where each step asks for trust, surrender, and a steadfast heart. For in that very narrowness the soul is tempered, the will refined, and my light shines brightest in the dark. You must understand the most fearful thing is not the sudden storm, nor the tangible losses our eyes can measure, but the hidden fissures in the life of the spirit. Some cracks begin so small like a faint line across glass, yet left unattended they spread until the pain shatters. So it is with your soul if you allow coldness to creep in. If the clamor of the world drowns out my call, you will gradually lose the ability to recognize me. And when you no longer recognize me, you will no longer know the way home. Each moment apart from me settles like a fog upon your heart, blurring everything, sending you forward without direction. The greatest tragedy of a soul is not rejection by people, nor the stripping away of status, possessions, or honor. Its tragedy is the loss of the inner light, the light of the holy presence, when prayers seem to touch the ceiling and fall, when you are lost in your own voice and can no longer discern my word. This is not a passing confusion, but a condition that leaves the soul arid and unmoored like a ship without a compass at sea. Then all the values you once cherished turn to dust, and you will see that without me, everything else is only shadow, only vapor. Because I love you, I cannot be silent and let you drift. My silence is not abandonment. It is patience waiting for you to recognize the peril of your state and freely return. Every word I speak is not to threaten, not to make you tremble, but to awaken you, to show that behind my solemn warnings beats a heart brimming with love and the desire to protect. You may view my disciplines as walls that block your way, but in truth they are fences that keep you from the precipice. I know you must pass through days of testing. These trials do not come to break you, but to strip away what is false, to forge you stronger and purer. Some will arrive like tempests, loud and fierce, yet others will come like a quiet wind, subtle but persistent, wearing you thin. It is precisely those silent trials that most easily unseat the soul, for you do not notice how they stretch your heart little by little. This trial will be different. It will not be a simple divide between right and wrong, good and evil, but a delicate choosing between the good and the almost good things that appear right outwardly, yet lack the breath of the Spirit within. You will need a sensitive heart, eyes of the Spirit made clear to see the difference. Only the fire of the Spirit can illumine what hides in shadow and expose the truth behind choices that seem harmless in their glitter. Beloved, do not think I do not know your fear, your weariness, your hidden tears. I see all of it. I etch each sigh upon the palm of my hand. For this I come to you today, not to condemn, but to draw you near again. I do not ask you to be perfect overnight. I ask you once more to turn your heart toward me, that I may rekindle the flame within you, that its light may blaze again, strong enough to reach the darkest corners of your soul. Do not let the memory of your first devotion remain a tale from long ago. Let it become the force that calls you back. Remember that every step you take toward home is not yours alone. It is a step I take while holding your hand. You may feel weak, but in that very weakness, my power is made complete. You may feel unworthy, but that humility opens the door of grace for me to enter and transform you. When you hear my call, it is not an echo in the void. It is the voice of the one who loved you before you loved, who called you by name before you were formed. That voice is not a cold command. It is a tender invitation, inviting you back to life, to wholeness, to the deepest origin of your soul. Do not fear correction. It is not a punishment to destroy, but a bitter medicine to heal. Do not despise warnings. They are the sign that I still care, still watch each of your steps. When I am silent, learn to wait. When I speak, learn to listen. When I warn, learn to obey. For everything I do springs from love and from the desire to shield your soul from what you cannot yet see. You will walk a long road at times, alone at times, as though darkness were thick around you. Yet do not forget, it is in darkness that light is most clear. In the desert that my word resounds most distinctly. In solitude that you discover my unfailing nearness. With every step you take and every choice you face, I am there not to impose, but to guide, to uphold, to remind you of the true worth of the consecration you received. And when the day of testing comes, and it surely will, you will not stand alone. You will remember this word, that every warning and every reminder today was not given to frighten you, but to make you steadfast, to help you see the path among 1,000 crossing ways. Then you will understand that these difficult hours have prepared you for that day, so you do not collapse or lose your way, but go forward with steady feet, a heart aflame, and my light leading every step. Beloved, come home. Let me take your hand once more. Let me rekindle in you the flame the world cannot quench. Let me turn coldness into new life, darkness into radiant dawn. You are called not to blend in, but to be light. You are set apart not for loneliness, but to be the instrument I use to bring life to other souls. And within that very work you will find yourself again and recover the true purpose of your presence on this earth. Do not wait until everything collapses to value what I speak today. Do not lose spiritual sensitivity before you seek me. Right now, in this very moment, I am here calling you, arms outstretched. With but one step back, one answer given, one heart opened again, you will see that I have never left you, never abandoned you in the storm. My love for you remains, as at the beginning, unchanging, undiminished, unceasing. And that very love will carry you through every trial, every temptation, every turning of the road. Be brave, rise up. Remember why you were called, why you were set apart. Let awareness of me return until your spirit shines. Let a keen ear for my voice become the compass that guides you. When you do, every tragedy will turn into opportunity, every trial into a springboard, and every tear into seed for a new harvest, a harvest of life, of hope, of joy that no one can take away. My beloved child, listen to each beat of my heart as it aches for you. I am calling you back not to confine you in a harsh mold, but to draw you out of the fog of deception that the world has cast around you. You have walked many roads, heard many voices, chased many lights that glitter for a moment and die, and there you have grown weary and let your soul be torn by things that seemed sweet, but were in truth a poison. Therefore I call you to return to the secret place where no earthly gaze can pry, where only you and I abide, where you may rest in the peace the world cannot give. There the outer clamor will settle, the lying words will dissolve, and only the gentleness of my whisper to your soul will remain. You must return to the first altar, not merely a material place, but the deepest chamber of your spirit, where you first knew me and first felt my unconditional love. It is the place where you wept in innocence, knelt in sincerity, and opened your heart like a child before its parents. I want you to find that place again, for there you tasted the pure sweetness of my presence, before rituals and patterns dulled the brightness of your first love. Do not fear the return, for going back is not a step backward, but the path to restoration, so that new strength and clarity may flow through you like living water that never runs dry. You must still every sound that drowns out my voice. The world is loud. A net of voices has closed in on you, and every story, every counsel, every scoff pulls your heart in a dozen directions. Yet when you choose silence, you give me room to speak to, heal, to mend the torn places in your soul. Silence is not escape, but a brave act, the courage to withdraw from the turbulence and face yourself, your pain, and me. In that stillness, burdens will slip from your shoulders. Questions long unanswered will begin to clear, and the fragments of your life will be knit back together. You must fast again, not only from food, but from anything that feeds your soul in the wrong way. to idle habits, desires that draw you away from me, diversions that numb your spirit. When you fast, you declare that you choose life from me rather than from temporary wells. Fasting is not punishment, but a doorway into spiritual sensitivity, so that your ear can catch what the eye cannot see, and your heart can beat in rhythm with mine. The more you lay down, the more you are filled, and in the very place of lack, you will discover the true abundance I have prepared for you. You must worship not as a performance before others, but as intimate communion. I do not seek ornate lyrics or elaborate ceremonies. I seek a broken heart and a soul willing to offer me unhidden honesty. Worship is not a ritual, but the breath of love, the answering voice of your heart to my call. When you worship in this way, chains will shatter, darkness will recede, and you yourself will be transformed, not by your strength, but by my presence. My child, I have seen every tear that falls from your eyes, every cry in the night, every hidden petition no one else has known. I have kept each prayer as a mother keeps the photographs of the child she loves, and as a father cherishes the keepsakes of his son far from home. None of your words are forgotten, and none of your sobs ignored. Yet you must know that many of the answers you seek will not arrive through your reasoning or the methods you are used to, but will come as you obey what I speak to you in this present moment. Obedience is not the loss of freedom, but the key that opens the secret storehouses of revelation. Many ask to hear my voice, but are unready to walk in my steps. They want comfort without change, light without leaving the shadows, promise without cost. My path is narrow because it calls for sacrifice, renunciation, and the courage to go against the current of the world. Yet that narrow way leads to life, to fullness of joy, to true freedom. You stand at a crossroads, and today's choice will shape tomorrow. For though the way of the world looks wide and easy and bright with laughter, it ends in a thorny descent toward the abyss, where the soul runs dry and hope is swallowed. The tragedy ahead does not arrive by chance. It is the harvest of small choices born of disobedience. A tiny seed of compromise, seemingly harmless, grows into a briar that chokes the promises I have sown in you. Do not treat lightly even the smallest missteps, for they set the course of a life. Yet in this very moment, if you will listen, I will show you how to uproot each lie that has taken hold, each habit that has become a chain, each fear that has dimmed your sight. Together with you, I will plant truth, cultivate faith, and water hope until the field of your spirit breaks into freedom, peace, and a new joy. You must understand that I am not merely issuing commands. I am inviting you into intimacy. I do not want you to come to me out of fear or mere duty, but out of love, because you know that in me there is life and healing and support that nothing else can replace. As you enter this closeness, you will find I am not a distant deity on high, but a father, a friend, a companion at your side. And in this intimacy, you will know that you are no longer alone or lost or forced to search everywhere to fill the hollow in your heart. My child, I call you back not to punish, but to restore, not to shackle, but to set free, not to take your joy, but to give you the joy that is true. Be brave and lay down what has drained you. Be brave and step off the familiar yet crooked path to enter a new way. Narrow, yes, but bright, with light pulsing with life and brimming with hope. Return to the secret place, to the first altar, to the sound of my voice, waiting to the place where you are reborn in my unfailing love. When you obey, the door of revelation opens. When you yield, blessing pours out. When you cast away compromise, you receive the eternal treasure no one can steal. Hear my voice today, for this is the time to choose life over death, light over darkness, truth over lies. You are not alone on this road, for I am holding your hand, guiding your steps, reminding your heart, guarding you from schemes you have not yet perceived. Everything I speak is not to frighten you, but to set you free. Every word I utter is not to burden you, but to lift you. Trust me, for I have never left you, never forgotten you, never abandoned you to the night. If you long for me, open your heart now. Let me enter and clear every shadowed corner, heal every wound, and raise you from the ashes of disappointment. You do not need to be perfect to come to me, only honest. You do not need to be strong to be loved by me, only to come like a child, weak yet trusting. And in my arms you will find a strength that is not your own but mine, and you will see questions answered, closed doors swing open, and the dreams I planted in you come alive again. Beloved child, the time has come. Do not delay and do not hesitate. Return, listen, obey, for it is obedience that will open wonders you have never imagined. Remember, I am calling you not merely back to a place, but back to your true self, the child I fashioned with purpose and a great design. In that return, you will find not only redemption, but transformation, elevation, and commissioning to become light in the darkness, a flame that burns away falsehood, a living testimony of my unchanging love. My beloved, understand that these trials are not sent to make you fearful or despairing, but to prepare your soul to be steadfast and refined for the journey I have ordained. Some people will pass through your life like a gentle breeze with a little warmth of comfort, yet not all are meant to walk with you to the very end. Some hands that seem to lift you actually slow your steps and make your feet heavy. I have seen what you have not yet seen, and I know the human heart before it knows itself. And so when I tell you to release, I am opening a wider, cleaner path for you, not to leave you in loss, but to free you for the calling I placed in you from the beginning. You have felt the inner tilt of your soul, the quiet moments when you wondered why beneath seemingly kind words there was a weight that discouraged you. You have heard counsel that deep within you knew did not come from my light. No, not my leading, but the echo of souls not yet surrendered. You hesitated because you loved them and valued the bond. Yet learn this: love is not the same as bondage, and faithfulness to me does not mean accepting what is not of me. I do not fault your slowness, but I earnestly invite you to step out of that grip. Consider the seed in the sower's hand. If he clutches it in his pocket, it will never become a tree, but when it is laid in the earth, hidden in the dark, washed by rain and warmed by the sun, it can push through the soil, grow and bear fruit. So with you, you cannot mature and blossom unless you allow me to prune away whatever hinders you. You cannot fly high while your wings are tangled in cords. Each cord may wear the face of affection or pity, or even what you call duty. Yet I see beyond those wrappings and know how they slowly drain your life. You were not made to live under the bonds of others, but to walk in the freedom I give. Do not fear loneliness, for I am the one who always goes before you. When a human hand lets go, I spread my wings over you. When you feel lost in a desert, I am leading you into the promised land. I have heard my spirit whisper to you in long, quiet nights, in the hours when you are most weary. My voice is not a clamor of noise, but a hidden encouragement, gentle yet unmistakable, urging you to rise and keep going. Many times you have felt it and yet soothed yourself that perhaps you were mistaken, perhaps you were overthinking. No, you were not mistaken. It is my call. I do not call you to remain in what does not belong to me, nor do I force you to chase the dreams of others. I have placed within your heart a promise of your own, a calling of your own, a path of your own. And you cannot move forward if you keep looking back. Do you know why their storm becomes your storm? Because when you bind yourself too tightly to what is not of me, you will be drawn into their whirlwind. When they fall, you will stagger. When they stray, you will be pulled off course. I do not want that for you. I want you steady like a tree planted by the stream, roots deep and unshaken by wind and tempest. I want your foundation built upon solid rock, not shifting sand. But to live this way, you must choose my voice over the voices of people. You must dare to let go of what only seems like a support in order to take hold of what truly endures. Remember that my calling over you is not only for you, but for the souls you will meet along the way. The more faithful you are to the road I lead you on, the more you become a blessing to others. If you let yourself drown beneath burdens I have not given, you will lose the freedom to serve. You cannot pour out if you are depleted. I do not desire you to live in that exhaustion. I want you strong, brimming, overflowing, so that you can share with others. Therefore, when I tell you to release something, it is not to take from you, but to prepare you for what is greater, better, and far more beautiful. You may ask, how do I know what to release and what to keep? Come before me in stillness. Do not rush to seek answers from people. My spirit will make all things clear to you. He will shine into every corner of your heart, reveal what binds you, and give you the peace to decide. That peace will not be the world's brief calm. It is a deep stillness, And even if outwardly you lose something, your heart will know you are walking the right way. That is my sign. You must learn to trust me more than you trust your feelings. Feelings shift, the human heart wavers, but I do not change. My word does not change. My word stands forever. When you set your feet upon that foundation, fear will loosen its grip. You will no longer be swept along by the waves that toss others. You will become like a mountain that cannot be moved, though rains fall and storms rage. And then those who truly belong to me, those whom I have appointed to you, will come and walk with you. You do not have to go searching for them. I will bring them. You need only be faithful on the path I have opened. Look back over the years and you will see that I have never abandoned you. I was there when you collapsed. I lifted you when you had no strength. I wiped your tears when no one understood you. I steadied you amid harsh words, misunderstanding, and betrayal. And today I am still here, unchanged, longing only that you trust me enough to let go of what no longer belongs to you. I know it is hard, but you are not alone. I am your strength. My child, let your heart open to me as parched earth opens to receive the rain. Let me wash away the anxieties, the burdens, the layered fears. Let me heal the wounds you carry, the cuts others have left upon your soul. Let me make you new so that you may walk more lightly and freely. Do not fear loss, for with me nothing is truly lost. Everything you place in my hands I turn into life. Everything you offer to me I transform into blessing. The day you choose to release what is not of me will be the day you are truly set free. On that day your eyes will open to a new field, your feet will step onto a wide road, your heart will beat in rhythm with mine. You will see a new dawn, you will hear a new song, you will live in a new joy, and then you will understand why I have waited for you. I do not wait because I need time, but because I love you. I want you to walk in freedom by your own willing heart, not by compulsion. Only that freedom endures. Only that freedom runs deep. Remember, beloved, the journey with me is not a path of loss, but a path of transformation. Each thing I ask you to release is not to leave you empty, but to make you more full. Every time you say yes to me, you open the door to what exceeds anything you imagined. I have appointed for you a future and a hope, not calamity. And you will see it if you trust me, if you dare to loosen your grip on what is holding you back. Therefore, do not harden your heart. Do not let fear cause your steps to falter. Place your hand in mine. Let me lead you from the darkest night into radiant morning. Let me lift you above the storms. When you do, their storm will no longer be your storm. Their collapse will no longer shake your foundation. Instead, you will become one who stands firm in the gale, a light to those who wander, a living witness to my power. I call you today, this very moment. Answer me. Release what does not belong to you, so that you may receive all that I have prepared. And then you will know what true freedom is, what true peace is, what true happiness is. This is what I desire for you because you are my beloved. My beloved child, I call you into the deep quiet where only you and I remain, where the clamor of the world subsides, so you may hear more clearly my voice speaking within your soul. Understand that pride is not only the blatant boasting seen on the surface. It also hides with cunning like a shadow behind the light, weaving through your thoughts and into your smallest dreams. Your adversary, the one who has watched you in secret for long, does not act foolishly. He is patient and meticulous. He has seen every gap you have not yet closed, every longing you have not placed in my hands. He will never tempt you with what you already despise, for he knows it would not deceive you. He will set before you what seems legitimate, the very things you have quietly wanted, longed for, yet lacked the courage to admit. And he will whisper softly, not at your ear, but in the deepest alleys of your soul, those places not yet surrendered to me, those wounds not yet healed, those embers of desire for recognition still glowing beneath the ashes. But remember, it is I alone who have the right to affirm you. No gaze, no praise, no human approval can define your worth. Only I, the one who knit you together in your mother's womb, truly know who you are, what I have deposited within you, and the purpose for it. The more you seek affirmation from people, the more weary and empty you will become. The more you lean on the world's uncertainties, the more you will lose your own roots. You may think you are advancing, yet you are running in the closed circle of ambition, where pride slips in and coils around your thoughts like vines tightening around your soul. I know you long to be seen, to be known, to have your labor recognized, but I am calling you to lay down the image you have been building for yourself. Be willing to become invisible in the world's eyes, like a seed buried in dark soil, hidden as it waits to sprout in the time I have appointed. Do not fear the darkness of obscurity, for there I am training you and shaping you so that when the moment I choose arrives, you will rise not with the world's passing glitter, but with the everlasting light that never fades. Do not trade abiding in my glory for a fleeting appearance in the eyes of men. Human approval is as fragile as smoke today. It may exalt you, tomorrow it turns away. But my affirmation is eternal, unchanging, not based on your success or failure, but rooted in my love for you. When you release the need to be seen by others, when you no longer ground your worth in their gaze, then you are truly free, truly strong, truly yourself within my great design. I invite you to set down each ambition and every dream you still clutch, so that I can place in you things greater, deeper, and more enduring. I do not deny the desires in you. I want to refine them to make them reflect my will rather than echo self-interest. The more tightly you grasp your self-image, the more vulnerable you become to praise or blame. But when you lay everything at my feet, you will walk unburdened, knowing you no longer have to prove yourself, contend, or race to validate your worth. Humble yourself, learn humility not merely in outward deeds, but in the innermost thoughts. Humility is not self-contempt. It is truth that everything you have, every talent you possess, every opportunity you receive, is grace from me. When you truly see this, pride has no refuge. It dissolves like morning mist beneath the Sunday. You will no longer need to compare or compete, for the Almighty holds your life and supports each step you take. You are not alone in this battle. I know your weakness, I know how easily you slip, I know there are nights when weariness makes you want to give up, but I am here, still here. I have never left you, even when you wandered in illusions about yourself. I wait with patience for you to entrust me with everything, every hurt, every wound, every unspoken desire, so that I may heal them and transform them into strength and peace. Hide nothing from me, for I have seen it all and I know it all. I only wait for your open heart so I may touch it. Whoever humbles himself before me will be lifted up at the appointed time. Engrave this in your heart as a promise that never fails. When you accept becoming invisible to the world, I will make you present in eternity. When you cease striving to elevate yourself, I, myself, will raise you to high places, not for your boasting, but that my light might shine through you, so that others seeing you may recognize me. This is not punishment, but preparation. This is not taking away, but a greater giving. Trust in me throughout this process, even when you do not understand, even when you feel alone or forgotten. Remember that a seed only germinates in the dark soil. True growth unfolds in silence, unseen, unboastful, unnoisy. The moments when you think you have been abandoned may in fact be the very time when I am doing my deepest work within you. Be patient, be steadfast, be faithful, for your reward does not come from the world but from my hand. My child, when you learn this lesson, when you humble yourself, when you lay everything down, you will know a freedom you have never known. You will no longer be bound by praise or blamed by success or failure. You will stand firm like a tree planted by streams of water, unshaken before the storm, for your roots have sunk deep into me. And in that very hour, the enemy will lose all claim over you. He may watch and scheme to tempt, but you will become invisible to his devices because you are hidden in me, your sure fortress. Therefore, step forward with humility, with trust, with a heart that releases every ambition in order to receive what is greater from me. Let me lead you, let me lift you up, let me write the story of your life with my own hand and not with your trembling one. You will see that one day every sacrifice and every renunciation will become everlasting glory, every tear a precious gem, every disappointment a testimony of faith. And you will discover that precisely when you thought you had lost everything, you in fact possessed all things, because you have me, the one who never changes, the only one who loves you with an unconditional love, the only one who can raise you high without letting you fall into the abyss of pride. Beloved child, as you listen to these words, open your heart wide to receive them like a clear spring that welcomes the dawn. My warnings to you are not a burden but a light for your path, keeping you from stumbling in the night. Do not see these trials as punishment. See them as loving reminders that awaken you and set your steps firm. You stand upon the thin boundary of change before you may lie a door opening to a new summit or a chasm of regret should you surrender. In this very moment, each breath and each step carries the weight of a destiny not only your own but also of those who will be set free through your obedience. The enemy does not attack you because you are weak. He attacks because he sees in you the seed of something great, something he cannot destroy. He knows that if you enter into total surrender, nothing will hinder the flow of grace that will pour through you. He fears your rising, for he knows it is not for you alone. It will draw many out of their chains into freedom and light. Do you understand that a single yes from you can shake fortified walls and unlock souls that are imprisoned? That is why you are in a battle fiercer than ever. That is why temptation grows stronger, slipping quietly into every unguarded crevice. But do not be afraid, for the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. Your strength does not lie in your own perfection, but in the power of the one who has set you within his eternal plan. My child, you have heard and you have known, but now I want you to remember more deeply than ever, I do not change. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. Though the world shifts, though hearts waver, though storms surge, my nature does not alter. My voice does not tremble before any power. My hand is not weakened by any force. My faithfulness cannot be shaken by time nor confined by space. Look back at what I have done in your life, the small miracles, the seemingly ordinary protections that were in truth my covering hand. Do not forget that as I acted for my people of old, so I will act for you today. I am not bound by history or memory, for I am the Alpha and the Omega of all things. I forget no promise I have spoken. I do not forsake those I have chosen, and you are among them. When your heart grows faint, I remain beside you. When you are afraid, I still hold your hand. When you feel abandoned, it is the hour when I am training you to become stronger and deeper. Your tears are not wasted. Each time you rise after a fall, heaven and earth bear witness, and it is I who lift you up. Understand that you are not alone on this journey. Each time you overcome a temptation, it is not merely a private victory. It is a direct blow against the darkness, clearing a path for others to follow. Each quiet prayer you offer carries greater weight than you imagine. Each small yes thunders in the unseen realm and makes the powers of darkness tremble. Know that this battle, though intense, is not meant to exhaust you, but to awaken in you a strength you have never recognized. As the seed must bear the pressure of the earth to sprout, as gold must endure fire to be refined, so you are being transformed through each trial. Do not look upon the enemy with fear. See him as the proof that you are drawing nearer to my purpose. Do not let temptation make you doubt my nature, for I am not one who changes with time or circumstances. What I promise I fulfill. What I begin I complete. Remember that my power is not confined to the past, but is ever present in your today and your tomorrow. I still work wonders, still heal, still deliver, still lead. My child, do not let the noise of the world muffle my gentle yet steadfast call. Do not let the outer darkness quench the inner flame. Do not let lies make you forget the identity I placed within you from the beginning. You are chosen not because you were worthy, but because I ordained a great purpose through you. Do not compare yourself with others, for your path is unique. Do not fear that you are not strong enough, for I, myself, am your strength. Beloved, I see what you do not see. I know what you do not yet know. I behold the end even as you take your first step. When I called you, I accounted for your weaknesses, your stumblings, your seasons of self-doubt. Yet I still chose you because I know that one day you will stand firm in the light, and not for yourself alone, but for many others as well. Believe that no matter how deep the night, the morning will come. No matter how fierce the storm, I remain the one who stills the waves. No matter how violent the enemy, I remain the victor. I do not promise you an easy road, but I promise I will never leave you. I do not say you will never weep, but I tell you I number every tear. I do not say you will never be weak, but I say my grace is sufficient for you. When you are weary, I am your rest. When you are confused, I am your way through. When you are afraid, I am your peace. When you lack, I am your provision. Do not doubt that you are exactly where I want you to be, even when you do not understand why. Do not rush to escape the trial. Let it finish its work so that you may be made complete. Do not read this assault as a sign that I have abandoned you. It is evidence that you are near to what I have promised. Do not let the enemy deceive you into thinking you have lost. The truth is that you were appointed to victory before the battle ever began. Therefore, my child, stand firm. Look into the eye of the storm without fear. Keep walking though your legs may tremble. Keep believing though your heart wrestles with doubt. Keep saying yes though your lips are dry. For in every moment I am at work in you, through you, and for you. You are not merely one who endures trials. You are a warrior being forged to lead, to pioneer, to become a torch in the night. Remember, the one who calls you is faithful. He will complete what he has begun in you. The one who took your hand at the start will not release it halfway. The one who planted the seed in you will not let it wither. I am he, the unchanging one, the unforsaking one, the unfailing one. And I am here this very moment with you. Look back upon the marks from the beginning and see that nothing in this life is accidental. Everything moves within a deeper rhythm beyond the limits of human understanding. In the quiet currents of time, a sovereign pattern of my working runs steady and sure, gentle, yet relentless, like a symphony in which every note is placed with precision. My redemption is not a passing notion nor an impulsive act. It is the heartbeat of love, a design woven before humanity set foot on the earth, written in strokes of justice and mercy. Every tragedy I permit is never meaningless pain. It is a mirror to the heart, a flame that refines the soul, a doorway into a higher understanding, where faith matures and inner strength is formed. Each trial is not merely a burden to be borne. It is a turning point in the story, the bend where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, ushering you into a deeper realm of life, nearer to me and nearer to the true purpose I have set for you. And every valley shadowed by darkness, every place where hope seems to fade, can become a road to triumph, not a triumph as the world counts victory, but the triumph of the spirit of maturity, of a life transformed in step with me. Consider the story of Noah, and understand, for it is not only an ancient memory, but a living pattern for every generation. When wickedness spread like black clouds over the earth and human thoughts ceased to seek the good and schemed only evil, I, the maker of heaven and earth, looked down and was grieved. That grief was not helplessness, but the sorrow of a father who sees his children stray, who beholds his handiwork stained, who watches beauty trampled in the mud. Yet in the midst of that darkness, a light remained, Noah, my servant. He was not flawless, but he had a heart that sought me. While those around him were swept along by the current of corruption, he chose a different way, a different cadence, a different faith. Therefore he found favor in my sight. That favor was not a passing feeling, but a bond, a shared heartbeat between a human soul and the purpose of the Creator. This is what I seek in each of you, not absolute perfection, but a sincere, humble heart willing to walk with me, even when the path differs from the crowd. The great flood humanity once witnessed was not merely a natural catastrophe, but a profound cleansing, an act of justice suffused with mercy. I did not allow Noah to be swallowed by that terror. Before the first drop fell, before the waters rose, I sketched the ark within his mind. I instructed him in every detail, every measure, every method, like a father teaching his child to do what had never been done. Noah listened without arguing, without delay. He believed even when no rain was in sight. He obeyed even when my words sounded foolish in the eyes of the world. And that obedience became the shield that covered him and his household, bearing them through the raging waters to a new shore. Do you see it? My child, destruction may come and darkness may descend, yet for those who walk with me, for the soul that learns to listen, I always prepare a way of escape, a means of redemption, a path that leads into life. And that lesson is not a tale for yesterday only, but a summons for the present moment. Humanity now lives in an age of confusion, where evil is often applauded, deceit becomes ordinary, and hearts turn their backs on truth. In that very landscape, I am still seeking new Noah's souls that listen, that obey, that walk with me, even when the road runs against the current, even when they must endure mockery, suspicion, or solitude. I do not promise you will be spared every trial, but I promise you will never stand alone. I promise that in the storm you will have an ark, in the drought you will have a spring, In the night you will have a guiding light. This is how I have acted from the beginning, and I have not changed. Remember that in every turn of your life I am weaving a vast tapestry. Each thread may puzzle you now, but when you look back you will recognize wisdom in every line. When you pass through hard days, remember Noah, who believed before he saw, obeyed before he understood, and stepped forward before the path appeared. This is the faith I desire in you. And once you take hold of such faith, every tragedy becomes a stepping stone, every trial, a refining fire, every valley, a road that climbs toward the heights. I am calling you, my child, not to admire a story from the past, but to hear a present invitation. I want you to know that though the floodwaters may rise in this life, though wickedness may spread, though the darkness may thicken, I remain the unchanging one, the Redeemer, the Waymaker. Come near to me, walk with me, listen for my voice, for true life is found there. And as Noah found an ark in a time of crisis, so you will find your refuge in me to pass through all things and arrive in a new land where the light never fades, where hope is no longer crushed, where every tear is wiped away and every promise of mine stands fulfilled. Beloved child, I do not call you to condemn you, but to awaken your heart so you may recognize that every breath, every moment of your life is a precious jewel, irreplaceable beyond price. Your time is not only an invisible stream, it is a doorway that leads you into destiny, into the noble purpose I planted in your soul from the beginning. Each passing minute is a seed sown into the earth. It may sprout into the tree of life or wither into weeds depending on how you tend it. Yet you have forgotten. You let these seeds blow away on the wind and die in the desert of indifference. You think you are living, but in truth you are only spending yourself like a river that flows on without watering any field. You have lavished your hours on what is vain, on things that harden your heart, mislead your soul, and drown out the deep whisper within the call that leads you back to yourself, back to the original purpose I set within you. I placed gifts in your hands, not to be kept like trinkets on a shelf, not to be displayed like a lifeless painting, but to become living streams that water the world. Those gifts are my breath in you, my imprint upon your soul. But when you indulge the flesh over the spirit, when you let desire, sloth, and distraction cloud your sight, those gifts fall asleep, buried like seed in sun-baked ground. Do you know the greatest tragedy is not to lack a purpose, but to let purpose die within you when you choose comfort over discipline, distraction over devotion, lose discipline, and you lose the warmth of life itself. Trade your precious moments for fleeting pleasures, and you trade away the destiny I designed for you. That is a waste no gold or silver can redeem. And yet, even when you stray, even when you let everything sleep under ashes, I remain beside you. I do not abandon you or reject you. I wait for your return, for the opening of your heart, that I might breathe new life into your gifts. I wait for you to enter discipline, for only under discipline do the gifts awaken. Discipline is not a chain. It is the key that opens the door into true freedom. You imagine yourself free when you indulge yourself, but that is an illusion. True freedom comes when you govern yourself, when you guard your time, when you give your whole mind to what nourishes the soul. Understand that every moment is an opportunity to be transformed. Each dawn is another chance I grant you to begin again, to reorder your life, to rouse what lies dormant. Do not think your gifts have died. They are waiting to be stirred. Like embers beneath the ash, they only need you to uncover them and breathe the air of discipline and faith, and they will kindle into flame. When that fire rises, everything changes. Your time becomes abundant, your strength feels renewed, and what you do no longer rings hollow. I know your weariness. I know how often you have tried and failed, how often you have longed to change only to be dragged back by old habits. Do not let that past dishearten you. Every failure is not an end, but a reminder to return, to walk with me, to place yourself under the discipline of light. You cannot revive your gifts by your own power, but if you return, if you let me breathe life, everything will be made new. Time will no longer be a burden but a grace. Discipline no longer a shackle but wings that lift you higher. Remember, you were not formed to be a slave to habit, to appetite, or to distraction, but to live a life of purpose, a life made whole. You may have squandered time, but today is still in your hands. You may have slept, but today is the hour to awaken. Do not wait for a perfect day to begin, for every day is a chance to begin again, to practice discipline, to step out of the shadow of inertia. The longer you delay, the deeper your gifts are buried. But if you decide if you will return, everything can be renewed. Know this, the discipline I invite you to embrace is not senseless austerity, but the training that makes you strong, clear-sighted, and free. Each day you guard your time, you are like a craftsman chiseling rough stone to reveal a precious gem. And when your gifts blaze to life, when you live according to your purpose, your life will transform not only you, but those around you. The light within you will guide others like a lamp for wandering souls. I call you not to live for yourself alone, but to become a channel of life, so that the gifts within you may flow outward like a river for the world. You were made to bring renewal to barren places, to sow hope in broken hearts. But this can happen only when you return, when you steward your time, nourish your soul rather than your flesh, and allow me to breathe life into each action, each thought, each decision. Do not fear discipline. Do not fear change. Take one small step each day beyond your comfort, away from the habits that numb you. With every step I will be with you. I will breathe upon your gifts. I will renew your soul, and you will no longer live the tragedy of a purpose suffocated by comfort, but the joy of a destiny unfolding. You will feel your time stretch open each day, heavy with meaning each hour, an offering you lift to life. And as you live this way, you will discover a truth. Time is no longer an enemy, but a companion. Discipline no longer a burden, but a joy. Your gifts no longer a sleep, but a river in flood. You will not squander your hours on what drains your life, nor let temptation paralyze you. You will find yourself free, strong, at peace. This is the life I have prepared for you, the life I am patiently inviting you to enter. My child, let not another day slip away in waste. Return, guard your time. Awaken the gifts within you. I am here waiting for you to come back, that I might breathe life into every dream, every longing, every fragment that seemed burnt to ash. Then you will know what it means to truly live, what it means for destiny to rise again in the light. But hear this, my child, faith cannot stand alone. It must be upheld by obedience. Faith is not a confession on the lips, but the flame that consumes self-will, readying you to follow my voice even when reason trembles and fear howls within. There will be times I lead you to a crossroads you cannot understand, where all you see seems to contradict the promise I have spoken. In that hour, true faith does not run to argument, but to obedience. Obedience when the way is no longer visible, when every support has collapsed, when you have only one word left. Whatever comes, I still trust you. True faith is not the absence of fear, but the choice to walk through fear, certain that I am there within the storm, among fallen walls, amid the trumpet of judgment. Look at Rahab, the woman despised by the world, a figure no one expected to be remembered in the lineage of holiness. She was a harlot, a condition from which others recoiled, a past that dared not lift its head. Yet in that small house upon Jericho's wall, faith flared like a spark in the night. While others in the city only heard of my people with terror, Rahab heard and believed. She believed there is a true God at work. She believed my grace was vast enough to cover even someone like her. And from that faith she acted. She did not only speak, she did. She hid my messengers not because she was fearless, but because in her depths she sensed I was calling her out of her sinful past, out of the darkness where she had dwelt so long. I have seen the tremor of fear in her heart, the hands that shook as she opened the door, the bewildered gaze when the clamor of soldiers scoured the streets outside. Yet in the midst of it all, she chose to believe. And that very faith opened a new page not only for her life, but for the lineage of humankind, because she believed I spared her household from wrath when the walls fell. She was grafted into my people, woven into the line that would bring forth the Savior, one who had lived in defilement I used to usher in purity, to become a link in the great design of redemption. Do you not find that wondrous? I want you to understand that my mercy is not measured by your past. I do not look at you through the lens of your failures. I look at you through the promise of transformation. I do not judge you by what you have done, but by what you can become when you place your trust in me. Faith does not make me love you more, for I already love you completely, but faith opens the door for that love to flow within you, to renew your soul, to wash your past clean, and to teach you to stand firm in the present. No one is too far for me to reach. No one sinks so deep that my grace cannot lift them up. If they will only cling to me, though their fingers bleed, though it be with the last faint breath, I will not let go. For I do not measure faith by perfection, but by honesty. Rahab did not understand everything. She did not see the whole plan, but she dared to believe, and that very belief stirred heaven to move. My child, faith without deeds is dead, and deeds without faith are empty. Obedience is the breath of faith. When you believe, you will act. When you act, your faith is strengthened. Do not wait until you feel strong enough to take a step, for strength does not precede action, it follows it. Each small act of obedience will teach you to trust more deeply. Each time you choose to heed my word, in the midst of fear, heaven takes note, and a part of your soul is reshaped into my image. Remember, I do not ask for your obedience only when all is easy. I desire your obedience when your heart is unsettled. When your faith is tried by fire, that is when I am refining you to shine like pure gold. Like Rahab, who had no guarantee the messengers would keep their word, who could not be sure I would remember her, yet she chose to believe. That obedience opened the way for a miracle, for I never forget the one who dares to trust me when hope seems gone, nor do I forget you. I see you in your inner battles, standing on the narrow line between faith and fear. I know the nights when you pray with tears that will not stop, when your heart whispers, "Do you still hear me?" I hear it all. I know it all. And I allow you to pass through such moments, not because I am far from you, but because I desire your faith to grow, your obedience to rise above your feelings. If your faith lives only when you see me act, it is not yet true faith. True faith stands when everything is silent. Child Rahab is no different from you. She was weak, afraid, dwelling in darkness, but she stepped out and let me change her life. If I could do that for her, I can do that for you. Let me rewrite your story, making it a testimony that mercy crosses every boundary, that grace can spring up from what was once cursed. When you choose to believe, you choose to let me author your life anew. When you choose to obey, you place the pen in my hand to script the rest of your story with my own light. I know you are afraid of loss, of failure, of being wounded, of surrendering what is familiar. But faith does not erase fear. It simply keeps fear from ruling you. Faith teaches you to see fear as an invitation to experience my strength. Faith is not merely believing that I can, it is trusting that I will in the best way at the exact right time. And obedience is the proof that you trust me enough to give me the right to arrange all things. When you do not understand, you still choose to go. When you do not see, you still choose to believe. When you have no strength left, you still choose to stand. That is the kind of faith that moves heaven, that draws me near to uphold you. Remember, I never choose anyone because they are perfect. I choose because I see in them the capacity to be transformed. Rahab was not chosen because she was pure, but because she was willing to be made new. So it is with you. I do not call you because you are strong, but because I desire to display my strength through your weakness. I do not choose you because you are righteous, but because I desire to reveal my righteousness through you. When you are weak, it is opportunity for my grace to shine. When you stumble, it is opportunity for my love to lift you. My child, let Rahab's story be a mirror of faith and grace. Let it remind you that no past can bind a soul that turns toward me. No sin is greater than my love. When you return, every chain will fall. When you cling to me, every curse will be broken. When you obey, every door that seemed sealed will open. I do not promise the path will be easy, but I promise I will not leave you. You may walk through valleys shadowed by death, yet my light will lead you. You may face the walls of your own life, your limitations, your wounds, your memories, but when you believe, those walls will fall, as Jericho's once did. Not by your might, but by my power within you. And when that day comes, you will know it was all because of mercy. Mercy that does not calculate, does not discriminate, does not set limits. It is a river that ever flows, sweeping away all sin, cleansing every stain, refreshing every soul that bows low. Faith is the vessel that bears you upon that river. Obedience is the oar that carries you to the shore of peace. Be courageous, my child. Let Rahab's story remind you that your past does not define you. Your response to my call shapes your future. Do not look back in regret. Look up in hope. For I am still writing, still creating, still turning what seems shattered into glory. Beloved, engrave this upon your heart: I have never left you, not for a moment. When darkness thickens around you, when every door appears shut, when every hope seems to fade in that very moment, I stand at your side, shielding and covering you with hands unseen yet mighty. I champion all who honor me above all things, not because they are flawless, but because their hearts turn toward me, because they choose me as their life, because in weakness they still call on my name. Your reverence is a fortified stronghold. It raises an unseen wall that guards you from the snares your enemy has laid in secret. Do not think your reverence is pointless or forgotten. It is the fragrance that rises to my throne, the mark that sets heaven in motion to intervene on your behalf. I am the one who makes a way where there is none. What human eyes cannot see, I have already seen. What human ears cannot hear, I have prepared. What no heart has imagined, I ordained before you were formed in your mother's womb. Look back over the years, how many times the end seemed certain, yet I opened a path. How many times despair pressed in, yet I seeded hope in your heart. You did not see my hand, yet every step you took was guided. You did not hear my voice, yet every breath you drew was held within my plan. When you thought the road was closed, I quietly laid out a new way. When you felt cornered, I opened an escape no one expected. I am doing this for you, even now in this very hour that seems without a way forward. I always rescue the humble and oppose the proud. It is not that I delight in weakness, but that in humility your heart softens to receive me. When you place me above yourself, when you bow low, you open the gates for heavenly help to pour in. The humble see miracles, hear the calling, grasp the treasure the proud will miss. Pride is the wall that divides, the noise that drowns. My whisper the path walked alone without inviting me to join. But humility is the key that opens heaven, the pass into the place of safety, the hand that receives strength not from you but from me. The lower you bow, the higher I lift you. The more you surrender control, the more you behold my mighty works. The tragedies you read in my word are never the full stop of the story. Do not regard them as punishments, but as the stage upon which I reveal my glory. Remember the cross, the place that seemed the ultimate defeat became the greatest victory. Where blood was shed, life poured forth. Where darkness seemed to blanket, all light dawned for the nations. So it is with your story. The stumblings, the sorrows, the trials you now endure are not the end. They are the backdrop for the greater thing I am preparing. You may see ruins. I see rebuilding. You may see failure. I see transformation. You may see tears. I see a harvest of joy. Not a single tear you shed is wasted. It waters the seeds of the new things I am bringing to life. You may not understand why you must take this road, but I know that this very path is shaping you, conforming you to my image, training you for the greater purpose I prepared for you long ago. My glory does not always arrive to the blare of triumphant trumpets. Often it comes in the quiet of a morning, in the mending of a broken soul, in the renewal of a heart that once despaired. When you let me keep writing the story, you will see that every tragedy is only an opening chapter to a miracle. I do not merely rescue you from pain. I turn that pain into the groundwork for a new life. I do not simply make you a way out. I make that very way the testimony of my power in the midst of the world. Beloved child, believe this. There is no backdrop so dark that it cannot become a stage for my light to pour through. There is no circumstance so hopeless that it cannot become a launch pad for new hope. There is no story so shattered that it cannot become a song of restoration. You need only take my hand. Do not let go. Do not fear. Do not doubt. Look to me instead of staring at your circumstances. Trust my word more than the noise outside. Remember that I am still advocating for you, still making a way, still delivering, still turning every tragedy into the backdrop by which my glory is revealed through your very life. My child, look closely at what I have done from the beginning if you would understand my heart. When I bring down the proud, it is not merely to expose their frailty, but to break the chains of arrogance so they might see the truth about themselves. And when I raise up the humble, it is not only to reward them, but to show that my grace continually flows upon the soft and teachable. David, whom you have read about, was not a flawless man. He fell, he stumbled, he agonized over his own sin. Yet he was different in this. His heart never left me. When he was stripped of his honor, when sin cost him his name, he still ran to me in tears. He did not hide, did not deny, did not shift blame. He knelt broken, and in that very brokenness I saw a heart still belonging to me. In that repentance I restored him and even granted him a life and a legacy beyond what he had imagined. See in this how I act. I am not the one searching for cold perfection. I seek hearts that listen, that return, that grow tender to my call. My justice is not a barren verdict. It is wrapped in love and therefore always walks with mercy. I correct not to destroy but to redeem. I warn not to terrify but to protect. Every time I speak to remind you, I am opening a way of escape from dangers you have not yet seen. Every time I allow you to know pain, I am refining your soul, making it clearer, deeper, and more enduring. The fire you see in your life is not always anger. Some flames are kindled to burn away, refuse to cut off the excess, to melt the hard outer casing so that the pure gold within can be revealed. Do not fear that fire. It does not come to consume you, but to purify you, to make you a vessel of glory able to contain more of what I long to pour in. Remember, pure gold is never made without the furnace. So it is with you. You cannot become the one I have called you to be without passing through my seasons of fire. At times I shake what you are clinging to, not to snatch it away, but so that what is not lasting may fall off and only the eternal remain in your hands. Look back at the moments when you thought you had lost everything. Then you wept, you protested, you did not understand. But now if you look more closely, you will see that some of what you lost was never truly yours. Some who left you were never meant to remain long by your side. Some doors that closed would never have led you into life. Without my shaking, you would not have discerned the false from the true. I shake you not to make you fall, but to help you stand more firmly. Do not think I abandon you in those seasons of shaking. I am there like a potter with his clay. My hands turn the wheel, press down, draw up, and shape until the formless lump takes form. The clay may feel the pressure, but my hands never leave it. I do not need it to destroy it, but to make it a vessel of beauty, a work with purpose. So it is with you. Whenever you feel pressed down, stretched, turned on the wheel, it is my hand upon you. I do not leave you. I am giving you form. My child, let your soul open to this truth. Those I love, I correct. If I did not warn or discipline, that would be the sign I had let go. But I have never let go of you. If you still hear my voice and still feel the shaking, it is because I am still at work in your life. That is a blessing far greater than you know. Do not see my correction as a burden. See it as proof that you are loved. Because I love you, I will not let you drift toward ruin. Do you see that in every age I have not changed, from the days of your forefathers, through the era of the prophets, and those I chose to this very day I act the same. I am the one who is both just and kind, both mighty and gentle, both judge and redeemer. You do not walk in a vague love, but in a love proven through history and the lives of many who went before you. When you read of them, I am showing you your own reflection in their stories. You are no exception. You too are within that current. Therefore, when you see fire, remember it may be the fire that purifies. When you feel the earthquake, remember I may be renewing the foundations. When you find yourself broken, remember I may be preparing you for something greater. And when you sense my discipline, remember it is the sign of love. Do not let shame or fear cloud your eyes from seeing my purpose. You were made to bear my glory, not to live in ashes. You are called to stand steady amid upheaval, not to dissolve within it. Trust me, you will not merely survive this season, you will grow through it. You will emerge from the fire as refined gold. You will stand upon a foundation that cannot be shaken. You will look back and say, I am grateful you did not abandon me. I am grateful you corrected me. I am grateful you shook me so that the false would fall away and only the true would remain. And then you will not only be restored, you will become a wellspring of hope for others. You will be able to tell them, I went through the fire and I am still here because he held me fast. My child, this is the very journey on which I am leading you. Do not be afraid. Do not doubt. Do not reject my correction. Receive it as dry ground receives rain, as metal receives the forge, as a seed receives the soil. I know you are weary. I know you have wept. I know there were moments you wanted to let go, but I also know you love me, and that love will steady you. It will help you rise again, return again, and grow again. Lift your eyes to me, the unchanging one. I am justice, and I am mercy. I am fire, and I am the cooling breeze. I am the one who shakes, and I am the one who keeps. You do not have to find your way in the dark. I am leading you. You do not have to carry the weight of discipline alone. I am with you in it. And in the end, when all that is temporary has passed, the eternal will remain, and you will find yourself standing within it, whole, renewed, shining like the dawn. Oh, my beloved child, it is I, the one who breathed life into you, who sustains you with every breath. I am the one who turns a barren graveyard into a garden overflowing with life, who turns the ashes of failure, wounds, and loss into a beauty that does not fade, who turns your weakest and most despairing moments into the brightest testimony of my power. Listen to me once more deep within your heart, for I am calling you the chosen one, the one I marked before the world was formed, to prepare you for the days ahead. The tragedy that approaches is nothing new. It only wears a different face. Yet the same spirit moves through every age, the spirit of division, deceit, and destruction. From the beginning, the enemy has kept the same nature. It prowls like a roaring lion, seeking whom it may devour, seeking the soul that has strayed from the flock, from the safe place I prepared. But my child, it cannot devour you when you hide yourself in me, when you clasp my hand, when you shelter beneath the shadow of the Almighty. It cannot sift you like wheat, unless you open the door by disobedience or indifference. It has authority only over what you yield to it. When you stand firm in me, it is left powerless, able only to grind its teeth as it watches you. This is why I speak to you with such urgency. I never call you in vain. Every word I speak is life, is awakening, is a summons to rouse you and bring you back. I am calling you now in this very hour, not to frighten you, but to open your eyes, to wake your heart, to keep you from unwittingly opening the door to the enemy through negligence, complacency, or apathy. I see what you do not see. I know what you do not know. I give this warning not to condemn, but to deliver, to stop the harm that could come upon you. Do not think I delight in destruction. My heart aches whenever a child of mine is lost. I take no pleasure in your collapse. My heart is a father's heart, ever longing to embrace, to heal, to restore. Yet true love is not only comfort. True love also corrects when correction is needed. I will not withhold discipline when it is required to save your soul. As the potter patiently shapes the clay, so I patiently form you. As the blacksmith places the iron in the fire to temper it, so I allow you to face trials to make you steadfast, to break what is unformed within you. Discipline is not rejection. It is proof that you belong to me, that you are my child. My child, I know there are times you do not understand why I allow certain things, why you must walk through the valley of the shadow, why you must endure trials that seem beyond your strength. Yet in all these things my hand remains, my gaze stays upon you, and my heart beats with love for you. I never abandon you to destruction. I permit a process that redeems, that guards your soul from dangers you cannot see. I have seen the snares ahead and the schemes that lurk, and I am teaching you how to stand, how to fight, how to trust in me more deeply. Do not be afraid when you hear me call with urgency, for it is the sign that I am near, the sign that I am at work. Do not imagine that. My warning is cold anger, but understand it as the cry of a father who loves you too much to be silent when he sees you standing at the brink. You may think you are strong, but I know you are still weak. You may think you stand firm, but I know the enemy is probing every step you take. Therefore, remain in me, take shelter in my word, allow me to lead you day by day and hour by hour. Let your heart be keen to my judgments. Let your eyes see not merely what is on the surface, but what is true. Let your ears hear not only sounds, but reality. When you abide in me, even what looks like tragedy will become an occasion for glory. I will turn losses into seed for restoration. I will turn failures into a foundation for victory. I will turn pain into the path by which you are formed in my likeness. I will not allow the enemy to prevail. I will not allow destruction to have the final word, yet I also need your cooperation, your obedience, your steadfast heart. Each time you stand firm against temptation, you shut the door in the enemy's face. Each time you choose to trust me instead of fear, you step deeper into my embrace. My child, remember, you are not called to live in indifference or disobedience, but to be a living witness to my power and grace. You are called to shine in the darkness, to be a voice of truth amid a flood of lies, to be a bearer of life in places of death. I have chosen you, not that you should drown in fear or inferiority, but that you might rise strong in me no matter how the world is shaken. That is why I am calling you today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready on your own terms, but now, because the hour is urgent, because I love you too much to let you delay, because I know every moment matters for your soul. Answer this call, my child. Do not hesitate, do not make excuses. Open your heart. Let me renew you. Let me shape you. Let me correct you if need be, so that you may be free, so that you may live fully, so that you may become yourself within the design I have ordained. Beloved child, step into the place where I am waiting, the place where love and power meet, where I turn night into dawn, where I turn graves into resurrection gardens. You are not alone, you are not forsaken. You are being called by name, you are being loved, you are being guarded. The enemy may lurk, yet it has no claim on you when you are in me. I am your refuge, your strong fortress, your deliverer. Believe this, cling to this. Let it become your breath, your heartbeat, your strength. And you will see, though tragedy may come, you will stand. Though storms may rise, you will be at peace. For I, the one who has called you, will not abandon you, will not let you be swallowed up, and I will complete the work I began in you until the final day. My child, offer me your prayer not by formula, but with your whole heart, not merely with words, but with your very breath and tears. Almighty God, I come before your throne, with a trembling and broken spirit, offering you every breath and every tear. I confess that many times I have gone my own way and wandered far from your loving call. I kneel and ask you to cleanse the lies I have believed, to uproot pride, compromise, and fear that have taken hold in my heart. Open my eyes to see the narrow road that leads to life. Open my ears to hear your whisper amid the clamor. I lay before you all my weaknesses, failures, and even my unfinished dreams. Take them in your mighty hands and reshape them, that your glory may be revealed. Loving Lord, when I look back on the years, I see your hand quietly guiding me. When my path grew dark, you were the light. When I was weak, you were my strength. When I was lost, you were my way home. I ask you to keep leading me on, make a way where there seems to be no way, prepare an escape where I thought there was none. Train me in humility so I do not lose your help through arrogance. Teach me to love obedience more than convenience, to love truth more than what is easy to hear, so that each step I take becomes a living testimony to your love and power. O Mighty One, who has seen my tears in the night and heard each cry I have uttered, I ask you to heal every wound still smoldering in my soul. Lay your hand upon the dark corners I have not dared to open. Breathe the breath of life into places I thought were dead. I long for intimacy with you above all else. I long to hear your voice above every noise. I long to dwell in your presence beyond every passing pleasure. Transform me from within, so that I no longer live in fear but walk boldly in your purpose. Almighty God, I thank you that you have always defended me in my weakness, lifted me when I fell, and made a path where I saw only dead ends. I know that without you, I would have collapsed long ago. I thank you that not one of my tears has been ignored and not one of my prayers has been forgotten. Eternal One, I know that the tragedies of my life are not a period at the end of the sentence, but the backdrop against which your glory is revealed. I thank you that you turn my pain into an opportunity to grow my collapse into a springboard, to rise my whole life into a witness to your mercy. O Mighty One, I thank you that the road you lead me on is narrow yet full of light, difficult yet leading to life. I thank you that every word you speak is a lamp to me, and every step you guide is a firm foundation for my days. I know that everything I pass through rests within your good plan. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.